Good morning. Should we call this the walk and chat edition? I'm going to be squinting a bit. It's early in the morning and it's going to be another hot day here. So I said to my daughter last night that I would get up early this morning and then we could go out and take the horse out for an early ride together, which is fantastic because one of my goals, has a long-term goal really, has been to get up a bit earlier and go out and get some movement in first thing when I get up in the morning. And I haven't made that happen, but it's happening today, so that's really good. So I thought I would hop on while I'm out here walking and puffing away and talk to you about, just update you on what has been happening with my new health journey and how it's going. And I do actually have an exciting update that is, well, I talked about last week that I didn't want to be jumping on the scale all the time because in the past that's been a bit of an undoing for me, because with a lot of hormonal fluctuations, the weight just goes up and down, it's crazy. It's never really stable, I find, at this time of life. So what has happened to me so much in the past is that I would be jumping on the scales every day to try to track my progress, and then if the scales are up for a couple of days, that would be enough for me to say, well, it's not worth putting in all of this effort to just put on weight again. So in addition to not weighing myself all the time, I've also taken my measurements, which I've seen a lot of people recommend that you go more on your body measurements and how your body changes as you go along in your weight loss journey rather than relying just on the scale. All that to say, I did get on the scale yesterday and it showed that I have lost nearly 4 pounds. And I was actually amazed, so pleased, because it feels like it's been so long since I've actually seen that scale go down. And although I've been getting the movement in for a few weeks now, I've really only got more serious about changing my diet and being very specific and intentional with my diet just over a week ago. So that loss is very, very sufficient to encourage me to keep going. I would like to say I would keep going anyway. I don't know, that was my intention, to just keep going with it, because as I outlined in my last video, I'm just trying to do the best for my body and my health situation as it is anyway. So that was great. And I also took my measurements over a week ago and then checked them yesterday, and the only measurement that did show a reduction was the waistline. Can't complain about that. Any reduction at this point is a positive. So at this point I'm continuing with my goal of a minimum of 10 minutes a day of some sort of physical, like intentional physical activity, whether that is a walk, whether it's a workout. I've been doing a lot of indoor workouts lately because the weather has been very hot and it's really convenient to go into my studio, put the air conditioning on and do a 10-minute workout. And I often find that 10 minutes isn't enough. I want to keep going. So I've done 10-minute, 15-minute, 20-minute and half-hour workouts at this point, and that's going really well. Half-hour workouts are a little bit harder. And then I'll either walk the same day or I just see how I feel. I'm just letting my body guide me in that. But I'm actually feeling great. So there are some more things that I need to tackle. I do have some more investigative procedures coming up. That'll be fun, but they're necessary. One constant issue for me is very low iron levels, even though I have a lot of iron intake. So obviously it's an absorption issue. So my doctor wants me to do more tests to try and rule out other things that might be happening, why this might be happening. But something that I'm about to do is switch from synthetic iron tablets to natural iron supplements. And I'm hoping that that will make a difference. I really don't like taking the synthetics, And I've been in touch with a company here in Australia, and they've recommended that I start on beef spleen supplements and something else they said. It's like a women's health supplement that has other minerals with it that help with the uptake of iron. So I'm going to give that a shot, and hopefully that does something, because nothing has really moved the needle on my iron deficiency so far. Well, I thought I could beat the heat, but the heat beat me. I was just sweating. I was so hot. I thought, oh, you know what, I'm going to continue this video when I'm a little more comfortable, which I am now. I've got my cup of tea and I've cooled down and I've got my Inkle loom, so all good again. Anyway, another thing I was going to chat about was one of the next things that I want to try and get on top of, and that is my sleep, because I haven't been sleeping that well. I seem to go through cycles with my sleep where I'm okay for a little while and then I'm just not. I can't. My problem is getting to sleep, and then often if I wake in the night, then I'll have a really hard time getting back to sleep. And so when I started doing more of this activity and movement, I thought that that would instantly have an effect on my sleep, because what I've found in the past is, you know, if I've had a lot of physical activity, let's say if we went on holidays and we went hiking a lot, then I would find that I would just, you know, completely drop off as soon as my head hit the pillow, and that would be great. I really loved that. And so I kind of assumed that the same thing would be happening, but it hasn't really had any impact on my sleep, which is a little bit disappointing. But I still think that there are things that I'm doing that are completely my fault that are contributing to this issue of sleep. And I will say that I've always been the sort of person who needs a lot of sleep. Like, it's not uncommon for me to have 9 hours sleep when I have a good stretch, and I just seem to need that, and I've always been the same. So it's not like I'm only getting 2 hours sleep a night or anything like that, but on a poor night like last night, I got maybe 7 hours, and I can do it for a day or two, and then it really starts to wear on me, and I have to be really careful because of my Hashimoto's not to get too tired and worn down. So there are two other things that I know are likely contributing to this issue. The first one is that I often work on screens late into the night. Like last night, I was editing on my laptop till about 10 p.m. And then I'll usually go to bed and I'll read for a little bit or something like that to try and make myself feel sleepier. I mean, I feel tired. I feel like I'm going to go to sleep and then I just don't. But, you know, we all hear about screens and how they can be detrimental to sleep and all of that. That's a habit that I need to break. And it's a habit that I have kind of broken in the past, but that I tend to just let it happen again, especially if, like right now, I'm making a new class. I'm almost finished that class. I've got a road trip coming up, so I'm going to be away, and I know that I need to get things done, and so I push it a little bit harder, and then, yeah, I end up being up late doing stuff on a screen, which is not the best. The other thing that I could tweak is my caffeine intake. Well, I'm having tea at the moment, which is okay. I could cut down on the coffee. I do sometimes drink decaf, and I could do that just to see whether it helps. For example, I always have coffee at lunchtime. 2 o'clock in the afternoon is my cutoff point for drinking coffee, but I'll often have like a few coffees in the day before it gets to 2 p.m. So I could try experimenting and replacing at least one of those with a decaf and see if that has any impact as well. If you have any sleep tips for me, let me know. It's also been really hot, as I've already mentioned, and it's hard to sleep when it's hot. We have a nice fan going, but you know, a fan only does so much when it's really hot. So I got my 45-minute walk in this morning, which is great. And I'm thinking that I may do like a fairly simple strength training session with my hand weights sometime else today, because I feel like I have some energy to spare, which is to be quite honest, a new sensation. Another thing I've noticed is, even though I'm not sleeping great at times, I am finding it easier to get up in the mornings, which is fantastic, because that is something that I have really struggled with. And especially, you know, if I've been feeling low physically as well as mentally, just not wanting to get up in the mornings has been a struggle. And that has been since I've been doing more activity and adopted this new better way of eating. I'm feeling really way more energized, and that's definitely noticeable. I'll be interested as I continue on and I go through different times of the month with my cycle, when I know that I usually get more tired, have less energy, probably feel a bit down and all of that, to see how I go over the next couple of months, to see whether that has any change as well. Wouldn't that be amazing? That would be so good. It's like medicine without taking medicine. It's just a natural effect of good things that you're doing. So I mentioned the road trip that I've got coming up. Now, something that has always derailed me when I'm trying to eat well and exercise is travel. Because, as you know, if you have traveled, it's very difficult to eat a specific diet, to have time to exercise, and you know, it's kind of funny, you've got all this time of sitting in a car if you're road traveling, but you can't use that time for exercise. And then you are on the road, so you can't take a little fridge with you. It's not like being at home when you have everything that you need, you know what you're going to eat, you have things ready ahead of time. So I've got some planning ideas for what I'm going to do to try to keep myself on track, and I'm really hoping that I can, because once I am derailed, it's like a fairly big knock, you know. It takes me time to come back from that. I lose confidence again. At the moment, I'm feeling quite confident. I'm feeling quite trustful of myself that I can do this, that I can continue this. And then if I have any setbacks, I just really find that hard. I take it to heart. Sometimes it takes me a long time to come back from that and to start over. I feel like I've undone everything that I did that was good. Anyway, all that to say, I'm going to take some food with me. So I'm going to cook some beef patties ahead of time. I'm going to cook some eggs ahead of time. I will take fresh fruit. I'll take some salmon. So my basic idea is to take enough protein-rich foods that I can fill up on those really good foods and then not be looking for something else like takeaway food, because I know at some point other people with me, they're going to be eating, you know, convenience food. And if I can have enough with me, at least for the first couple of days, then that takes care of that. After that, I know I'm going to need to rely on convenience food at some point. Unfortunately, it's just the way of traveling. Eventually, you're going to find yourself where you need food. And at that point, I'm just going to try and make the best choices, and then try not to worry about it too much. Try not to feel guilty if I have to have a meal that is less than what I would like to have on this eating plan, and just try to do my best. That's all we can do, really. And it's hard when you're traveling and you're tired as well, and you might be like, well, you know, I could really try to seek out some better food than what I have in front of me. But I might not have time, I might not have the energy, I need to eat now kind of thing. So we'll just see how it goes. It's going to be a bit of a challenge. It's kind of a shame that it's this near into my new weight loss journey, shall we call it. But at the same time, maybe it's a good test of how committed I really am and whether I'm willing to change my preconceived ideas about what I can and can't do. And also how quickly I can bounce back from less than perfect, because it's always going to be less than perfect. And so yeah, I will just do my best. Okay, I'm going to stop there. I need to go and finish filming the last video for this new class, which is exciting. And if there's anything that you want to see on this channel, let me know, because sometimes I'm just at a loss as to what to actually put on here. What are people interested in? What is it even worth me doing this, being on this second channel, you know, that kind of thing. So if you want to see like what I eat in a day kind of video, if you want to see what kind of activity or workouts I'm doing, if you need that kind of encouragement yourself, and I know that a lot of you do, and I'm so grateful, because on the last video that I made, you were all so encouraging, and that really, really did lift my spirits. It made me feel really more determined, and that's another reason that I've been coming here and making posts and everything about my health journey, is it really helps to keep me accountable. No one else in my family has a weight issue. So it's not something that I can share with people around me. I do feel a little bit like I'm on my own with this, but if I can share it here, that's just fantastic, and it does really help me to keep accountable. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you'd like to see going forward, and we'll go from there, I guess. And I'll see you soon.